The Deathworlder Fleet, Part 1. The Silent Sector Commander. Elena Vasquez stood before the massive viewport of Luna Station, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath the moon's surface. The blue marble looked peaceful from here, but Elena knew better than most that humanity's homeworld was anything but peaceful. Earth was classified as a Class X deathworld by the Galactic Council, a planet so hostile that most species considered it uninhabitable. Yet here humans thrived, adapted, and somehow managed to reach for the stars. The soft chime of her communication device interrupted her thoughts. "Commander Vasquez to the Quantum Communications Array immediately," came the urgent voice of Dr. Marcus Chen, her chief xenobiologist and communication specialist. Elena had worked with Marcus for 5 years, and she had never heard that particular tone of excitement mixed with concern in his voice before. Elena made her way through Luna Station's corridors, passing technicians and scientists from a dozen different worlds. Some nodded respectfully, others gave her a wide berth. Humans had been members of the Galactic Council for only 8 years, and their reputation as Deathworlders preceded them everywhere they went. Most species found human physiology disturbing. The fact that humans could survive in environments that would kill a Kalani or Praxian within minutes made other races nervous. The Quantum Communications Array occupied an entire section of Luna Station. Dr. Chen stood hunched over a console, his dark hair disheveled from running his hands through it. Beside him, 3 other technicians worked frantically at their stations, their faces illuminated by cascading data streams. "Marcus, what's got you so worked up?" Elena asked, approaching the main console. Dr. Chen looked up, his eyes bright with discovery. "Elena, we've been monitoring the usual subspace chatter when something incredible happened. We started picking up quantum echoes from the silent sector." Elena's expression grew serious. The silent sector was a region of space that had been declared off-limits by the Galactic Council 300 years ago. It was a dead zone stretching across 12 solar systems, filled with gravitational anomalies, radiation storms, and spatial distortions that made navigation nearly impossible. No ship that had entered the silent sector had ever returned. "What kind of quantum echoes?" Elena asked. Marcus activated a holographic display above the console. Waveforms danced in the air, creating patterns that pulsed with an eerie rhythm. "These aren't random signals, Elena. They're distress calls. Multiple distress calls in at least 17 different languages. Some of these signals are ancient, dating back centuries." Elena studied the waveforms, her military training helping her recognize patterns that civilian scientists might miss. "You're saying there are survivors in the silent sector? Survivors who have been calling for help for hundreds of years?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Marcus confirmed. "And there's more. The quantum signatures suggest these calls are coming from a single location deep within the sector. Something massive, possibly a space station or ship, located right in the heart of the most dangerous region." Lieutenant Sarah O'Brien, Elena's military liaison, stepped forward from where she had been monitoring the conversation. Sarah was a compact woman with short red hair and the kind of sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Commander, with respect, this sounds like a trap. The silent sector has been a no-go zone for 3 centuries. Why would we suddenly start receiving these signals now?" Elena nodded thoughtfully. Sarah's caution was well-founded, but something about the situation felt important. "Marcus, have you reported this to the Galactic Council?" "I sent a preliminary report an hour ago," Marcus replied. The response was immediate and unambiguous. The Council classified the signals as phantom echoes and ordered us to ignore them. They reminded us that the silent sector is forbidden territory and that no rescue mission would be authorized under any circumstances. "Phantom echoes?" Elena raised an eyebrow. "That's a convenient explanation for something they clearly don't want to investigate." Chief Engineer Dmitry Petrov chose that moment to join the group. Dmitry was a bear of a man, built like the Russian heavy world colonists his family descended from. His thick hands were always stained with engine grease, and his accent remained strong despite decades in space. "Commander, I could not help but overhear. If there are truly survivors in the silent sector, should we not attempt rescue?" Elena looked around at her team. These 4 individuals represented some of Earth's finest talent in their respective fields. More importantly, they were all volunteers, who had signed up for the most dangerous assignments humanity could offer. They were Deathworlders in the truest sense, adapted not just to Earth's harsh conditions, but to the challenges of deep space exploration. "The Council's position is clear," Elena said slowly. "They won't authorize a mission because the environmental conditions in the silent sector are too dangerous for conventional galactic species to survive. The radiation levels alone would kill most Council races within hours." Sarah caught on immediately. "But not humans." "Not humans," Elena confirmed. "We've spent our entire evolutionary history adapting to hostile environments. High radiation, extreme gravity variations, caustic atmospheric conditions. These are just Tuesday for us." Marcus pulled up additional data on his console. "Elena, I've been analyzing the environmental readings from the silent sector's edge. You're right, the conditions would be lethal to most species. But for humans, it would be challenging, certainly, but survivable with proper equipment." Dmitri cracked, his knuckles a habit that made most non-humans cringe. "My engines could handle the gravitational distortions. I have been working on adaptive drive systems specifically designed for anomalous space regions. This could be perfect test." Elena made her decision. "I'm calling Admiral Harrison. If the Council won't authorize a rescue mission, maybe Earth Command will see things differently." 30 minutes later, Elena stood in the secure communication chamber, facing the stern visage of Admiral Janet Harrison on the holographic display. Admiral Harrison was a legend in Earth's military, a woman who had commanded the first human deep space exploration missions and negotiated humanity's entry into the Galactic Council. "Commander Vasquez," Admiral Harrison began, "I've reviewed Dr. Chen's report. The Galactic Council's position on this matter has been made clear to Earth Command as well. They've strongly advised against any intervention in the silent sector." Elena straightened. "Admiral, with respect, since when do we let the Council decide who lives and who dies? If there are survivors out there, people who have been calling for help for centuries, how can we turn our backs on them?" Admiral Harrison's expression remained neutral, but Elena thought she saw a flicker of approval in the older woman's eyes. "Commander, I want to make something very clear. Earth Command cannot officially authorize a mission into the silent sector. Such a mission would violate Council directives and could jeopardize our standing in the galactic community." Elena felt her heart sink, but Admiral Harrison wasn't finished. "However," the Admiral continued, "I understand that the experimental deep space vessel Prometheus is currently undergoing final systems tests at Luna Station. I also understand that you've been assigned as its commanding officer for initial shakedown cruises. If the Prometheus were to experience, shall we say, navigation difficulties during its testing phase, resulting in an unplanned excursion into previously unexplored regions of space, well, that would be most unfortunate." Elena couldn't help but smile. "Yes, Admiral. Very unfortunate indeed." "The Prometheus has been equipped with the latest in human adaptive technology," Admiral Harrison noted. "Environmental suits rated for Class X conditions, adaptive hull plating, quantum shielding systems. It's almost as if the ship was designed for exactly the kind of conditions one might encounter in, say, a region like the silent sector." "What a remarkable coincidence," Elena replied. Admiral Harrison's expression became serious again. "Commander, I want volunteers only. No one goes on this mission who hasn't fully understood the risks. We're talking about venturing into a region that has killed everyone who's tried to explore it for 3 centuries. The fact that we're Deathworlders doesn't make us invincible." "Understood, Admiral." "One more thing, Vasquez. The Prometheus carries a crew of 200. If you're going to do this, you'll need every one of them to be at their absolute best. This isn't just a rescue mission, it's a proof of concept. We're showing the galaxy what humans can do when others cannot." The communication ended, and Elena stood alone in the chamber for a moment, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. She was about to lead 200 volunteers into the most dangerous region of known space, chasing signals that might be centuries old to rescue people who might already be dead. But that was what humans did. When others said impossible, humans said not yet. When the galaxy turned its back on the desperate, humanity answered the call. Elena made her way to the Prometheus docking bay. The experimental ship was a marvel of human engineering, sleek and deadly-looking, with adaptive hull sections that could reconfigure based on environmental conditions. Its quantum drives were designed to operate in spaces where normal faster-than-light travel became impossible. All stations prepare for departure. Chief Petrov, bring the quantum drives online. Dr. Chen, continue monitoring those signals. Lieutenant O'Brien, all defensive systems on standby. We're going into the unknown, but we're not going unprepared. As the Prometheus disengaged from Luna Station and turned toward the silent sector, Elena stood on the bridge watching the stars wheel past. Somewhere ahead lay answers to questions the galaxy had been afraid to ask. Somewhere ahead, survivors waited in the darkness. The Deathworlders were coming, and they would not be turned away. The Deathworlder Solution. The Prometheus shuddered as it pushed deeper into the silent sector, its adaptive hull plates shifting and reconfiguring to handle the increasing gravitational distortions. Commander Elena Vasquez gripped her command chair as the ship rode out another spatial anomaly, her experienced crew working smoothly despite conditions that would have torn apart most galactic vessels. Status report, Elena called out over the subsonic hum of strained systems. Chief Engineer Dmitry Petrov's voice came through the communication system, thick with concentration and his Russian accent. Hull integrity holding at 92%. Quantum drives performing better than expected, Commander. These anomalies, they are like storms I learned to navigate in Siberian space yards. Dangerous, yes, but predictable once you understand their rhythm. Dr. Marcus Chen looked up from his sensor station, excitement overriding the fatigue evident in his features. Elena, the signals are getting stronger. We're definitely heading in the right direction. But there's something else. I'm detecting massive energy readings from the same location as the distress calls. Whatever's out there, it's big. Lieutenant Sarah O'Brien monitored her tactical displays with growing concern. Commander, I'm picking up debris fields. Multiple ship types, some designs I don't recognize from any galactic database. This area is a graveyard. Elena studied the main view screen, which showed a field of twisted metal and crystalline fragments, drifting in the eerie glow of the sector's radiation storms. How old are these wrecks? Varies, Marcus replied, his sensors working overtime. Some appear to be centuries old, others relatively recent. Elena, I think ships have been coming here for a very long time and none of them made it out. Until now, Elena said with quiet determination. Dr. Chen, can you identify any of the ship types? Marcus manipulated his controls, highlighting specific debris patterns on the screen. That section there contains Kalani vessel fragments, consistent with their evacuation fleet mentioned in the distress call. Over there, I'm seeing what looks like Praxian exploration craft and some others. Elena, these represent at least a dozen different species, all from different time periods. They all came here for the same reason we did, Elena realized. They heard the distress calls and tried to help. The Prometheus continued its journey through the hazardous region, its crew working with the kind of focused intensity that only came from years of operating in humanity's most dangerous environments. The radiation levels would have been lethal to most galactic species within hours, but the human crew, protected by their advanced environmental suits and the ship's quantum shielding, pressed forward. Contact, Dr. Chen suddenly called out. I'm reading a massive artificial structure directly ahead. Distance, approximately 50,000 kilometers. The main view screen shifted to long-range sensors, revealing something that made the entire bridge crew fall silent. A colossal space station hung in the void, easily the size of a small moon. Its architecture was unlike anything in galactic records, with sections that appeared to have been built by different species and then connected together over time. My God, whispered Lieutenant O'Brien. It's beautiful. The station was indeed magnificent, its various sections glowing with different types of energy signatures. Some areas showed the crystalline construction favored by the Kalani. Others displayed the organic curves of Zephyrian engineering, and still more showed building techniques Elena had never seen before. "Dr. Chen, are you picking up any life signs?" Elena asked. Marcus worked his controls frantically, trying to penetrate the station's various energy signatures. "It's difficult to get clear readings through all the interference, but yes, I'm definitely detecting life signs, multiple species concentrated in the station's central section." Elena made her decision. "Lieutenant O'Brien, take us to docking position. Chief Petrov, prepare the environmental suits for extreme radiation exposure. Dr. Chen, open communication channels on all frequencies." The Prometheus approached the massive station slowly, its sensors mapping docking bays and potential entry points. As they drew closer, Elena could see that many sections of the station showed battle damage, as if it had been under siege for years. "This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the Earth vessel Prometheus." Elena broadcast on all frequencies. "We have received your distress calls and have come to provide assistance. Please respond." For long moments, only static answered. Then, weak but clear, a voice responded in accented Standard Galactic. "Earth vessel? You said Earth vessel? How is this possible? No ship has reached us in over 50 years. This is Prometheus responding. We are human. Who am I speaking with? I am Zara 9, last surviving member of the Kalani Technological Council. Human, you must listen carefully. You have entered the heart of the Devourer hunting grounds. Your ship is in terrible danger." Elena exchanged glances with her bridge crew. "Zara 9, we've come to evacuate survivors. How many beings are on your station?" 47, came the weak reply. "Representing 8 species. We are the last remnants of civilizations the Devourers have consumed. But human, you do not understand. The Devourers are not a conventional enemy. They are energy beings that feed on life force itself. They have been systematically destroying worlds for thousands of years." Dr. Chen looked up from his console, his face pale. "Elena, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching from the outer rim of the sector. Multiple contacts moving fast." Lieutenant O'Brien's tactical display lit up with warnings. "Commander, whatever those things are, they're big, and they're heading straight for us." Elena activated ship-wide communications. "All hands prepare for contact with unknown hostile forces. This is not a drill." Zara 9's voice came through again, urgent and frightened. "Human vessel, the Devourers have detected your presence. They will attempt to drain your ship's energy and consume your crew's life force. No species has ever successfully fought them. The environmental conditions of this sector make conventional weapons useless, and the Devourers are immune to most forms of attack." Elena felt the familiar calm that settled over her in crisis situations. "Zara 9, why have you survived when others haven't?" "The station's location protects us partially. The gravitational and radiation anomalies that make this sector so dangerous also provide some shielding from the Devourer's feeding abilities. But it is not perfect protection, and our numbers dwindle each year." The main view screen shifted to show the approaching contacts. Elena's breath caught as she saw them clearly for the first time. The Devourers were unlike anything in human experience, appearing as writhing masses of dark energy surrounded by crackling fields of power. They moved through space with an organic fluidity that was both beautiful and terrifying. "There are 12 of them," Lieutenant O'Brien reported, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "They're spreading out to surround us." Elena studied the tactical display. "Chief Petrov, how are our systems holding up in these conditions?" "Better than expected, Commander," Dmitri replied. "The radiation and gravitational anomalies that weaken other ships actually seem to strengthen our quantum shielding. It is as if our systems were designed for exactly these conditions." An idea began to form in Elena's mind. "Dr. Chen, you said the environmental conditions make conventional weapons useless. What about unconventional weapons?" Marcus caught on quickly. "Elena, you're thinking about using the sector's natural hazards as weapons." "Exactly. Chief Petrov, can you modulate our quantum drives to destabilize the local gravitational fields?" Dimitri's laugh came through the communication system. Commander, what you are suggesting is very dangerous, but also very clever. Yes, I can create resonance cascade in quantum field matrix. It would be like triggering controlled avalanche in gravitational anomaly. Lieutenant O'Brien pulled up targeting solutions. If we can channel the gravitational distortions toward the devourers, the energy discharge should disrupt their cohesion. Elena activated communications again. Zara 9, I need to know everything you can tell me about the devourers' vulnerabilities. Human, in 300 years, no species has found an effective way to fight them. They are immune to energy weapons, physical attacks pass through them, and they actually grow stronger by feeding on most forms of power. What about the environmental hazards of this sector? Elena pressed. How do the devourers react to the radiation storms and gravitational anomalies? There was a pause before Zara 9 replied, and Elena could hear excitement entering the alien's voice. The radiation storms force them to expend energy maintaining their cohesion. The gravitational anomalies disrupt their feeding ability. But no species has ever been able to survive in the heart of these phenomena long enough to weaponize them. Elena felt a surge of satisfaction, but she knew the battle was far from over. All hands prepare for coordinated attack pattern. We're going to use this entire region as our weapon. What followed was unlike any space battle in galactic history. The Prometheus danced through gravitational anomalies that would have crushed other vessels, using Chief Petrov's modifications to turn the hazardous environment into a devastating weapon system. Each time a devourer approached, Elena's crew triggered cascading gravitational distortions that disrupted the creature's energy matrices. Dr. Chen coordinated the attacks from his sensor station, mapping the complex interactions between the ship's quantum drives and the anomalous phenomena around them. Lieutenant O'Brien directed targeting solutions that treated entire regions of distorted space as ammunition. Chief Petrov pushed the ship's systems beyond their design limits, his understanding of both human engineering and the sector's unique conditions proving invaluable. One by one, the devourers found themselves unable to maintain cohesion in the face of the controlled gravitational chaos the humans were creating. Their feeding attempts were disrupted by radiation storms that the Prometheus simply weathered through superior shielding and human adaptability. The final devourer, larger and more powerful than the others, made a desperate attempt to drain the station where the survivors sheltered. Elena positioned the Prometheus between the creature and the station, using the ship's quantum drives to create a controlled singularity that pulled the devourer into a gravitational maelstrom. The energy being fought desperately to escape, but Chief Petrov's modifications had turned the Prometheus into something no other species could have created. A ship that thrived in conditions that were lethal to conventional vessels, capable of weaponizing the very hazards that had protected the devourers for millennia. As the last devourer dissipated into scattered energy, Elena felt the tension leave her shoulders. Status report. All stations. All systems nominal, Chief Petrov reported, pride evident in his voice. Ship performed better than specifications under these conditions. Dr. Chen looked up from his sensors with amazement. Elena, I'm reading clear space throughout the sector. The gravitational anomalies are stabilizing. The radiation storms are dissipating. It's as if the devourers were somehow maintaining the hazardous conditions. Lieutenant O'Brien's tactical display showed peaceful star patterns for the first time since they had entered the sector. All hostile contacts eliminated. Commander. Elena opened communications to the station. Zara 9, this is Commander Vasquez. The immediate threat has been neutralized. We're prepared to begin evacuation procedures. The response came immediately, filled with emotion that transcended species barriers. Commander Vasquez, in 300 years of hiding in this sector, we had given up hope of rescue. Not only have you saved us, but you have accomplished something that every species in the galaxy believed was impossible. You have defeated the devourers. Over the next several hours, the Prometheus carefully extracted the 47 survivors from the ancient station. Elena met Zara 9 personally during the evacuation, finding the Kalani to be a tall, graceful being with crystalline features and eyes that held the wisdom of centuries. Commander, Zara 9 said as they walked through the Prometheus's corridors, I must ask you something. How did you know that the environmental hazards could be weaponized against the Devourers? How did you even survive to make the attempt? Elena smiled. Zara 9. Humans come from what the Galactic Council classifies as a Class X death world. We evolved under conditions that most species consider impossible to survive. High radiation, extreme gravity variations, caustic atmospheric conditions. These aren't obstacles to us, they're just Tuesday. The Kalani's crystalline features shifted in what Elena recognized as amazement. You mean your entire species is adapted to conditions that would kill most galactic civilizations? That's exactly what I mean. When the Council refused to authorize a rescue mission because the conditions were too dangerous, they were thinking, like most species do. But humans don't avoid dangerous conditions, we adapt to them. We turn them into advantages. As the Prometheus began its journey back to Council space, carrying survivors who had been given up for dead and proof that humanity could accomplish the impossible, Elena reflected on the mission's broader implications. The galaxy had spent centuries fearing the silent sector and the Devourers that ruled it. They had written off entire species as extinct and accepted that some calls for help simply couldn't be answered. But humans had never learned to accept the impossible. When the Prometheus finally reached Luna Station, it carried more than just survivors. It carried proof that the galaxy's newest members, the Deathworlders from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, were capable of things that older, more established civilizations could not even imagine. The rescue mission became legendary throughout the galactic community. The species that had once nervously tolerated humanity's presence began to view them with a mixture of respect, gratitude, and healthy fear. Earth became known not just as a death world, but as home to the beings who answered calls for help that others deemed impossible. Commander Elena Vasquez and the crew of the Prometheus had proven something important. When the galaxy gave up, when conventional wisdom said there was no hope, when even the Council turned away from the desperate, the Deathworlders would answer the call, and the galaxy would never be quite the same again.